Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here, and we are going to be taking a look at some of the German tanks that have been added. Are they tanks? Not necessarily. They're more like armored vehicles. They're more like guidelines, anyway. But random movie quotes aside, this is the Panzerwerfer 42. It's an armored half-track with, you guessed it, this is a Panzerwerfer, ladies and gentlemen. It werfs panzers. It's fucking beautiful. Pardon my French, I'm very excited and caffeinated. So we've got this new cruise stuff, and as you can see, this Panzwerwerfer is very inferior. It's not the Uberwerfer, at least as far as the crew is concerned. But let's take a look at the mods, right? We've got these Nebelwerfer 41 rocket launchers. There's 10 rockets. And then we've got the Jagdpanzer. The Hanomag Hanschul Jagdpanzer 4-5. 4/? And this thing doesn't have a lot of armor. 50 millimeters for a tier 5, battle rating 7.7. Anything that shoots this is likely going to kill it. There is some effective angling here that you get from this nice 50-degree slope, but at tier 5, I don't even know if it really matters, honestly. Maybe on rare occasion, you'll hit some crazy angle on... It's not necessarily like a pig's head mantlet, per se. But it is incredibly rounded. Look, you see that? Once you see the face, you can never unsee it. Hey dude, I got a big nose mouth. I'm like an anteater. His eyes, you see that? Someone photoshopped that. Please photoshop that. It's pretty sexy though. It's very fast and it's got a fantastic gun. Let's take a look at it. You've got the fin stabilized heat rounds. Like, look at the penetration on that. Like, that's gonna be great. And then even your stock shot is an APCR round with pretty decent penetration. And then if you're feeling cheeky, you've got high explosive rounds. I never use high explosive rounds. I maybe use them like less than 0.001% in all of my games probably, but you know what? There are rare occasions you could use them. Once there's infantry in the game. Oh, if there's ever infantry in the game, I don't know. Anyway, so let's test drive this right here. To get a feel for the speed at which the Jagdpanzer 4-5 goes, because it's pretty quick. But yeah, so how about those British tanks I showed off the other day? Pew! Alright, fin stabilized heat rounds. Mouse! At 740 meters. Oh, that's a T-95. Because we can't shoot at a mouse when we're in a German. Look at that. Yeah, you're dead, mate. T-34 on the move. Pew! That's very high velocity. Look at that. Pew! Right into that engine. Dude, those engines in the fuel tanks of Russian tanks are basically extra armor. Can I get an amen? The KV-2 is inferior. You must be destroyed. Anyway, so while we're here, let's take a look. Hey guys, it's me, the hand eater again. Anyway, so that's caffeine for you. Let's Hitler's buzzsaw right there. Pew 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 pew. Oh my gosh, it fires so fast. But at tier 5, I like the Russian tanks with their 14.5 millimeter MGs. I like that. But you get a feeling for how fast this thing goes. Traverse rate's very quick. Like this thing is you're not gonna be able to like deal with too much. You're not gonna be able to endure too many enemy shots, honestly. I wish they had gyroscopically stabilized guns for some vehicles. I wonder if we're ever gonna have that. I don't really know if that's like a 50s development though. You know what I mean? Let me know, you tank experts out there. Look how sweet that is. One of his eyes is blinking. He's winking at us. Gotta love the sound of those MGs. Ramming speed! You don't need armor, friend. T-44, man. I don't know why, but just looking at the thing right now, it's got some, it looks nice. It's aesthetically pleasing. So what do you guys think? The Hanomag Hanschul? Is that what it is? The Hanomag Hanschul? Jagdpanzer 4-5? Yes, it is so wunderbar right now. But, yeah, this thing, you're gonna have to rely on your speed and the amazingness of that gun. And as fast firing as those machine guns do at tier 5, there's not really anything that do anything, but it is fun that they're there. So now the Panzerwerfer, the Werfer of Panzers. You better not shoot that gun right there at that angle. Poof, you be dead, son. Reckon you dead. Let's test drive this titty fish. But yeah, these are big ass rockets. And I'm fairly certain that this thing is accurate. A little more accurate, maybe just a bit. Tut tut tut. Look at that. See, it's a buzzsaw right there. That's another one. Yeah, we're ready. Oh my god. Listen. Dude, I love this. Now let's see how long it takes to reload these. You can see in the bottom, let me get some decent contrast right there. Right on those dark tracks. So you can see that it does take a while. But while you're waiting, we've got the machine gun on the top, and we've got a mining pickaxe. You know, you can dig for some cobblestone, maybe dig yourself a fortress. If you're lucky, find some iron you could smelt. Dig down to the nether. I don't know. Lots of options. Lots of options. And we're reloaded. And there you've got your rockets back. So, who's that over there? The T-95, is that you again? We're gonna get a feeling for how difficult these things are to aim. At distance, anyway. I love these. And then they just kind of... We're trying to werf panzers right here. Werfing panzers is harder than it looks. Gosh, the sound is literally amazing. Alright, so let's see how fast this thing goes. And then we'll look at the armor, because it is a premium vehicle, but I know that rocket-armed vehicles in this game, well, rocket-armed tanks and armored vehicles, armored driving vehicles, not flying vehicles, are generally more expensive per premium vehicle than other tanks. I like that they added rockets, but I'm wondering if the kind of logic there... Oh, wow. Firing on the go is tricky, man. There's a hit. Boom! Once you do hit, though, it's over. Ooh, that was actually relatively close, that first one. And the second one just went over the mountains. Alright, we gotta reload. So we're gonna kind of see how good Panzwerwerfer is against certain things. I myself, I don't know, guys. I love this game. I play it. I make videos on it. I kind of have to get all the premiums. And I do. And I enjoy them. I'm also a collector of sorts, so that's why I do it. But what do you guys think? Would you buy a, like, because I know the BM824. There's a T95. Wait, T95? No, a Pershing. Huh. I think we're like hitting the track. There we go. That was an instant kill. When I wasn't hitting the track, I hit the track a few times, and it basically acts as spaced armor, and this is basically, it's more or less a heat round. You know, it's a shaped charge. I guess, is it a heat round? It's almost like, I would say it's like a hybrid between a heat round and a high explosive round. Like rockets, how they act, especially this big ass rocket. We'll fire on the go, we'll reload, and we'll see how this thing's do against the T-44 from the front. Man. It's difficult to aim. Like, this isn't something you can just roll out and slaughter things. In certain situations, you're gonna kill a lot of vehicles. In other situations, you're gonna get one shot because that is an exposed ammo rack right there, those rocket pods. At least when you are not reloading. But, yeah, do you think you guys are gonna buy this? I know that there's a Pershing with rockets. I think it had like T-95 rockets or some name like that. We'll check it out. So, look at that. T-34 driving off in the... That front. There we go. If you hit the right spot, you're going to destroy, man. And that was right under the turret. Look at that, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is here, guys. What up, Mickey Mouse? We killed Mickey Mouse. Alright, but, yeah. Ooh, the KV-2, man. Imagine a KV-2 with a Katyusha rocket pod on the top of it. Just go ahead and imagine that. That was right on the side of that KV-2. Yeah, that armor, it can't pen. Whoa, but then when you get in that sweet spot on the turret ring where it can deflect downwards against the thinner top parts, it's almost like using the Sherman 105 against higher. But I mean, this is a tier 1 vehicle. You're not often going to encounter KV-2s unless we come up with some custom battles. But yeah, I think it's like using the Sherman 105. If I aim like at a turret, right? I'll put it in the crosshairs. If you aim like right there, like as a shell, it deflects downwards into that much weaker top of the hull armor there. And that's kind of the best way. Indirect fire, you could almost say. You hit the turret, but you're counting for the fact that it can't penetrate the turret and goes downwards, kills the crew, hits ammunition. Scheisse happens all over the place. But anyway, so the Panzwerwerfer 42 is so wunderbar right now. I'll play it. I'm interested to see how it plays. You're kind of a big target, especially when compared to the BM-824. And you have less rockets than the BM-824 has, but yours are more powerful. So, you know, you've got that going for you. Yeah, so what do you guys think of the new German tanks? Out of all the new tanks, American, German, Russian, and British, which one is your definitive favorite out of all of them? I'm kind of in between the Black Prince and the Firefly, but I do know that but that's only because it's, hey, finally British tanks are out. But let me know which one's your favorite out of these, and let me know which tank you want me to play first once the patch drops. I'm imagining it's going to be British, but you know, it might not. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to pull the trigger on the like button, share the video with a friend, and I'm going to have more 1.53 patch coverage in the future. I've got a lot. Check the video description below. Check my channel because we got lots of fun stuff over there. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to pull the trigger on the like button, and then once again, let me know favorite tank or armored vehicle out of patch 1.53 in general, and I'll see you guys soon.